What's up? What part are we on now? Part 7. Alan Wake. The game that never ends. This game just keeps going and going and going. Right when you think it's over, holy shit, Scratch is back. So, I don't know. I'm up bright and early. Got the kids on the bus. I got coffee. I got some fucking Pop Tarts in case I get hungry. I got energy drinks. I'm playing it till it's done. So here we go. Right when I think it's over, oh yeah, we beat him. Oh shit, he blew up the container and escaped. Well, I'm ready. It's what, 6:40? Now watch, this last mission would take like 15 minutes. What do I have? All right, I ain't got much of nothing.
Hello?
It's me again. You need to go to the statue at Parliament Tower Plaza. To make your ending come true, you will need what's inside the shoebox there.
Ooh, cold in
The
here.
ending? A shoebox? Who is this?
All right. All right, so this is where it ended yesterday. I heard humming. So where's the statue? Look at my man just hanging out outside now.
Agent Anderson. Is that really you? Sorry, this place likes to play tricks.
Sheriff Breaker? What happened to you? How did you end up in the dark place?
I was brought here. Snatched away from the morgue by a man named Warland Dorr. Been trying to piece it together for... Well, it feels like a long time now.
I need to get
Where's
to
the plaza?
Parliament Tower Plaza. Do you have any idea where it is?
This place, it's like trying to find your way around in a dream. I've been trying to map it, but it keeps looping and shifting. Like there are many versions stacked on top of each other. There is a page. Describes Dorr finding his way through this place. I tried to follow the steps, but no luck.
Who is this
Who's
Dorr
Dorr?
person?
He's here. Somewhere. I've been seeing his face in my dreams for years. This whole thing is insane. But he is much more than he seems. He's connected to all of this.
Can I see that page, Tim?
Of course. In fact, it's the page I tried to give you back in the morgue in Bright Falls. Huh. Now that I think about it, maybe Dorr brought me here to keep you from reading it. Here.
We'll give it up.
I'm gonna keep looking for Dorr. The closer I get, the closer I feel to waking up. I need to find the man behind the curtain.
Warland Dorr walked across the rain-slicked tiles of Caldera Street Plaza. He stopped at the door to the
I bet
construction.
he smells like shit by
A
now.
poster for his talk show.
And taking a
hung
shower
there.
in years.
He stepped through, willing it to take him to Parliament Tower Plaza.
I know what I need to do. The door to Parliament Tower Plaza was at the construction yard.
All right, so profile.
This is the first time I've seen a page about Warland Dorr. Who is he?
A door that stands between two rooms is in both. A door that can lead anywhere is everywhere. That door is the center. He governs the currents of reality.
With all the powers mixed up in this, it's hard to know who's playing who. Opening too many doors. This isn't important right now. I can look into it later. The page
Well, there's a
describes
first.
the
You don't want to
moving
ramble on forever.
How can I do that?
The dark place has many faces and many names. It is a mirror, reflecting all possible realities. The family of Doors have the power to shift between these realities, here and elsewhere.
If I can find a way to navigate through this nightmare, maybe I can find a way to get back home.
What a crazy idea. I want to read that gibberish.
It's time for Koskela Brothers.
I was like, I don't think we watched this.
Hello, I'm Ilmo Koskela, and welcome to the Koskela Brothers Book Club. This week we will review the highly anticipated new novel by Alan Wake, Return. Return is printed on a firm, high-quality white offset, uncoated paper stock, making every page a true delight to turn in your fingertips. Alan Wake's brilliance is on full display with his choice of a hardcover book jacket made of a premium enamel stock with gloss lamination.
Okay, I'm over it. I'm over it. What you got? All right, still can't do those. Find the door. Construction yard. So is this the door? Should I go explore? No, stay on task. No sidetracking. Finishing this game today. To Parliament Tower, okay. At least I get to be in here and don't have to do all those stupid scenes. Not that they're stupid, it's just... I don't know. They get old after a while when you do like 10 of them over and over. There's one more thing, don't be jipping me. I have a lot of batteries. Like the most I've had the whole time I've been playing.
I need to get up to the street and find that statue.
A lot of supplies. All right, hold on. How rude. All right, anything else? Any of these open? Oh, one of them does. I don't even have a shotgun. It literally just gave me shotgun ammo. Do I? No, I have no shotgun. Is it hidden somewhere? Oh, shit, now I'm gonna think I missed it. Maybe it was just a mistake.
Enough already.
Great, they're back. See how close I can get to them without them freaking. All right, not bad. I think that was one of the main parts that burnt me out about the wait. It's just I'm not a sneaking game person.
The clicker. And some kind of bullet.
I wish there was a shotty in it.
How did the clicker get here from Washington?
It's in the script. Don't ask questions. Oh. Escape the dark place. Okay. And how would I do that? I don't know. I'm kind of. All right. Maybe go back in the subway? Oh, maybe go back the way I came. All right. Dang, that just smacked me. All right, it worked. So is this still not the dark place?
Yes?
Hello. You don't know me, but you need to listen.
Hold on. How did you know the clicker would be there?
This is important. Alan's lost. He doesn't have the ending. He needs your help to finish the story.
How am I supposed to help him from here? Okay. I'm in the dark place. Wake is in... Alan. We need to talk about the ending.
Saga, what is this?
My mind place. I've reached out to you like this before,
Where is he right
but
now?
I understand more about it now.
You see visions too. I used to think they were ideas, inspiration, but they're real. Just like this now. I try to use them to make the story come true.
So this is coming from both of us. Maybe that's how we could communicate in the overlaps. We could use this to stop Scratch.
First, I need the ending.
Why can't you just write everyone lived happily ever after?
So there's a problem with
Like,
the
is it that hard?
I don't have the ending. It has to
Just
be
write,
perfect.
oh, I
I
escaped.
don't have
Everyone
time to figure
survived.
it out.
They went for ice cream.
I don't know what to do. Fuck. I'm so sorry. This whole thing is a fucking mess.
I agree. But we can still figure this out. And what exactly does perfect mean?
The elements of the ending need to come from the story's pre-existing parts. To make matters worse, this is a horror story.
You don't need to tell me this is a horror story.
Right. The ending has to fit the genre if it's going to work. In a horror story, there are only victims and monsters.
There must be a way to bring a hero into the story.
If there is a hero, they will ultimately pay a heavy price.
I can't let the horror story take Logan and Casey. They were dragged into this. They need to survive. Non-negotiable.
Not just them. We need to try to save everyone. I have an idea how to help Casey.
Can't save everyone.
The person who I twisted into a character. He isn't my creation, so he isn't a suitable host for the Dark Presence. I can write that into the ending to drive that fucking thing out of him.
So the ending has to be earned. Set up by the story. You can't build a case without supporting evidence.
That's the only way to make it stick.
All right, just keep going.
Well, if the ending has to fit the story, this is how I see it. Return is a story about a story that comes true. And I'm a character in the story.
Not just a character. The hero.
Okay, a hero. In any case, I've been through hell to be here. And this is my life. It feels earned to me that I rise above the story and be there to create the ending.
Yes. That's what we're doing. Here, now. We're figuring out the ending I need to write.
Okay. Why can't they just show one giant cutscene? It's like they want you to be a part of the game, but show you just nothing but a cutscene.
This is our ending. You aren't the only one deciding these things anymore.
You're right. I can't do this alone. Every time I write, things only get worse.
You beat this thing back in 2010, Alan. And here you
Did
are
he, though?
doing the same again. You're a hero too. We're in this together.
Then let's bring it home.
The ending will have to be
Yeah.
done, no matter what.
Let the cutscenes
The
roll.
more people we save, the greater the cost. And the hero must pay the price.
One of the heroes. The scales always need to balance. Fuck it. Let's go with this.
Are you sure?
There's no time for anything better. Scratch could be here any second.
Then that's our ending. I have the clicker. I'll find a way to get it to you.
And I'll get the pages down. See you on the other side.
All right, no more profiling. All right. Enter the fountain. End of the road. Doubtful.
Alan?
Saga, I finished it. The ending we talked about.
I have the clicker and the bullet of
This
light.
ending better pay off.
Let's do this. I have to be the one to do it.
I feel like I've always been on this journey. Okay. It must end here. This darkness. What lies under the surface now shifts. A play of shadows catching my eye, thrusting my face into the water. He's here. It's shockingly cold. Past the mirror of the surface. And I will see.
Casey?
The end. Scratch! Now!
She clicked it.
A white, searing light of truth that for a flash pierces the shadows and reveals the hidden horror. And in that moment of silence, the whispered message finally heard.
Come on, you motherfucker! Come on! Come on!
What if there's nothing waiting to be revealed? The play of shadows fool us all, subterfuge to get our price of admission. Darkness not as a monster, but as emptiness. We're none the wiser. No answers.
So it's in him now?
No truths. The hero turns to look inside. Is destroyed by what he sees, and is redeemed. Saga said we're both heroes. I'll pay that price. So will she. We are here to kill the monster. I pray nothing comes after this. Nothing but sleep. This is how we win. Is it too easy? What if this is still the dark place? Another dream to wake up from, always coming back to the beginning. The memory of what came before.
That was a
burned
special
away by
bullet.
This terrible realization. Maybe it's a mercy, forgetting. To know nothing when we loop around, back to...
Damn, she just shot him.
Is it over? Anderson?
No. Seriously? They're going to leave you with that? Also, the fact that I only had 22 minutes left of the game kind of was that close yesterday. That can't be the ending. Let's see if anything's after it. Good grief. They had the whole city working on that, didn't they? All right, here we go.
This part is just for you. After the haunting started, I got in touch with an organization that was still looking into what happened in Bright Falls. I went to their offices and something happened there. After I got home, I could suddenly remember everything. I remembered being trapped inside that lake. A dark ocean with echoes of myself. My fears, my photos. Inside a dark tide of madness, the same events and images looping again and again. And then I saw a light. Your light. You dove in just as I swam out. You never drowned. And you're still there reaching out. That is what the haunting is. I can see you because I've been there too. I chose to come back to the dark place. That is why I put on this exhibition. I had to mislead you, so that I could get you to where you needed to be. The only way out of your loop is destruction or ascension, light or dark. And we've covered the destruction part many times over. And we're getting to the ascension bit by bit. Time means nothing here. You'll still need to go through the loop. But I will keep showing you the images you need to see, the light you need to see, until you're ready. Alan, I think we're getting close.
It's not a loop. It's a
Okay, am I the only one that's just completely lost? There's got to. I don't know. I don't. Did they fix it? Did they not fix it? Maybe we should watch a video of explaining the ending. That's it. Let's see if I can find something. Hmm. How long is this one? Enhanced bitrate. See what my premium gets me. Turn this off. Hold on. Why do I not hear it? Why do I not hear the sound? Hold on. Hate the hotkeys on YouTube.
A twisting story, one that's a
All right, here we
Alan
go.
Wake 2 presents a twisting story, one that's a convoluted mystery, altered by the otherworldly power of the supernatural dark place and the writings of Alan Wake himself. For some, the air of mystery and opaque storytelling leaves a lot to one's imagination. Making sense of it all can get pretty confusing, an entangled nightmare, if you will, and we're going to try unknotting it all for you. So we're going to explain everything that happened, what it implies for the future, and everything you might have missed. That said, this is your obligatory super duper. Now's your time to leave spoiler warning for Alan Wake 2.
Also, this credit GameSpot, so don't try to
That out of the
copyright
way,
me.
Let's get into it.
Fair
At
use.
the end of the game, Saga Anderson and Alan Wake's tales finally intersect, and with both of them in the Dark Place, attempt to execute a plan that will stop Mr. Scratch. While Saga was first brought to Bright Falls to investigate a series of ritualistic killings, her world is quickly flipped upside down into something of a nightmare, where her entire reality begins to rewrite itself. A reality that's being changed because of Return, a story that Alan, or in this case his evil doppelganger, Mr. Scratch, is writing in order to escape the Dark Place. In Return's altered form of reality, Saga and her daughter Logan lived in the town of Watery next to Bright Falls, but in this story, Logan had drowned there years earlier, and of course that's not the reality Saga remembers. As far as she is aware, Saga never moved to Watery, she never divorced her husband David, and their daughter Logan is still alive and well. So as Return slowly starts to shift her reality into this tragic story, it becomes Saga's mission to somehow prevent it from taking over entirely and making Logan's death permanent. For that, she needs Alan to rewrite it, and she'll also need the clicker to make sure it actually happens. The clicker is a key item from the original Alan Wake. It's a light switch that was formerly part of a lamp, Alan's angel lamp from when he was a child, that manifests itself in the dark place during Alan's portion of Alan Wake 2,
Didn't know that.
and that he
Or didn't
uses
remember
to
that.
manipulate his reality. When used in conjunction with a story or other piece of art that the dark place brings to life, the clicker can render permanent changes to reality that were created by the art itself. If Saga uses the clicker alongside Alan's new version of Return, it can make the story's changes permanent. So in theory, this means saving her daughter, defeating the Dark Presence, and saving Alan from the Dark Place. But of course, it all goes sideways. Saga uses the clicker, and with the help of the band the Old Gods of Asgard, which is comprised of her grandfather Thor and her great-uncle Odin, try to summon Alan from the Dark Place with a song. And it works, kind of. Instead of Alan showing up right there in that moment, he shows up days earlier at another part of the story. In fact, specifically when Saga first finds him at Cauldron Lake, and she didn't just bring Alan. During his time in the Dark Place, we learned that it wasn't Mr. Scratch who was directly thwarting his efforts to edit Return in order to prevent the Dark Presence's escape. It was Alan himself, down the road.
Yeah, it's
after
kinda what I
numerous
figured.
attempts to write his own escape novel, Initiation. His journey reveals to him that his wife Alice, whom he saved from the Dark Place at the end of the first game, causing his eternal entrapment there, killed herself after years of being haunted by Mr. Scratch, which Alan assumes was happening due to his continuous meddling with reality in order to escape. He confronts who he believes to be Mr. Scratch, but it's actually his past self, killing him and preventing him from finishing the edits
So why was
to
he so
Return
aggressive,
and
though?
allowing Scratch's horror story to play out in the first place. Believing all hope to be lost, Alan gives in to the Dark Presence, and in that moment is transported to the real world thanks to Saga's meddling. As Saga realizes that Alan's arrival days prior was the result of her using the clicker in the present, Alan, now Mr. Scratch and fully consumed by the Dark Presence, shows up. Saga manages to drive the Dark Presence out of him, but it possesses her partner Casey instead. The new Mr. Scratch. Scratch steals the clicker and throws Saga into Cauldron Lake, sending her to the Dark Place. When Alan returns to the Dark Place, we get a glimpse of what Scratch means to create. It wants to take full control of reality, remaking it however it sees fit. Alan's able to find a physical copy of the book, which he can read to find out the story's ending and change it. With a copy of the book in hand, Alan returns to the writer's room, which just so happens to be above the Valhalla nursing home. This is when Wake realizes he needs a co-writer. Cue Saga Anderson. After freeing herself from a prison of doubt that the Dark Place put her in, Saga starts venturing across a version of Alan's shifting reality in the dark and gritty noir New York City, which is also where Saga can locate the clicker. Artie the janitor, who seems to be a paranormal entity like the Dark Presence, but seemingly a more friendlier one, sends Alan to retrieve
A little
Alice's
nuttier one, too.
photos and put them in the shoebox, which is a pivotal setup for this moment. Saga finds the photos in the shoebox, and thanks to the power of the Dark Place, it turns Alice's photos into their literal subjects, the clicker and the bullet made of light. Saga contacts Alan through her mind place, and together, the two of them rework the ending to Return. The story will only become stronger by having Saga as a co-writer, but not without sacrifices. As Alan notes, this is a horror story, and the conventions of the genre have to be respected. It has to be true to the art, it has to be dark, and if it's inauthentic, it won't work. Scratch arrives to stop the new story, but Saga uses the clicker to turn the story into reality. The story forces the Dark Presence out of Casey, but into Alan. Saga shoots Alan as Scratch, seemingly killing Scratch. The whole thing ends ambiguously, as Saga tries to call Logan to confirm that the story has been changed and her daughter is still alive, but we never hear if Logan picks up on the other side. Roll credits. Okay, so yeah, it's a lot. Dark,
Yeah,
twisted,
it is a
and
lot.
ambiguous, as it should be, after all, to be authentic to the genre it's portraying, right? As far as we know, Saga and Casey are apparently still in the Dark Place. The bullet of light seems like it should have
Yeah, they
killed
still
Scratch,
had to get
but
out.
That's not really clear either. Alan has seemingly destroyed manifestations of the Dark Presence on 2 previous occasions, in the original Alan Wake and in Alan Wake's American Nightmare, but it keeps coming back. We also know there's more story to come, at least for Wake. Remedy announced 2 additions to the story by way of DLC expansions.
No way, I didn't hear that.
Springs and Lake House, though the details on both are very thin. And then there's the mid-credits scene that recontextualizes a lot. The mid-credits focuses on Alan's wife Alice. Alice had been working on creating a new photo exhibition and a documentary about her work, focused around being haunted by visions of Alan appearing in her apartment. As I mentioned earlier, Alan thought it was Scratch attacking Alice, but by the end of his story, he realizes that it was his repeated attempts to reach her in that old apartment causing her visions of him. The documentary concludes...
Which I don't understand why, when he showed up there, why was he so aggressive, though?
Torment, or so we thought. The mid-credits scene reveals Alice actually faked her death after realizing that her experiences in Bright Falls during the original Alan Wake were real, and that Alan has been trapped in the dark place ever since. This is actually referencing plot points to Remedy's other game, Control, and its AWE expansion. Alice had interacted with the FBC in the aftermath of the first Alan Wake story. It's this visit to the FBC headquarters, the oldest house in New York, which unlocks her memories of the Dark Place. In AWE, it's heavily implied that these events are a part of a story Alan is writing from the Dark Place, with new manuscript pages appearing in the oldest house during the DLC. The mid-credit scene makes it clear that Alice's apparent suicide was actually her returning to the Dark Place, this time with a plan.
I didn't get any of
Alan
that she
believed
faked
she
her
committed
suicide.
to set him on the path to connecting with Saga in the first place. It was also Alice who called Saga and helped lead her through the Dark Place, and it seems Alice means to finally help save Alan once and for all. How she's going to do that exactly isn't clear, but she thinks her intimate knowledge of the Dark Place will give her an edge. The final moment of the mid-credits scene sees Alan waking up from Saga shooting him to utter the line, "It's not a loop, it's a spiral." We know that Alan called himself from another point in the story to instruct himself to leave Alice's photos in the shoebox. Unlike other parts of the loop, we haven't seen that call being placed yet, so whatever point in the story it's from, it's beyond what we've actually played in the game. The spiral line also carries some implications. If you watch Tom Zane's film, Nightless Night, when it plays at the conclusion of the cinema section of the game, you'll hear that line spoken again by the film's version of Alex Casey. The film is about Casey being sacrificed by a cult led by Barbara Jagger, the woman he loves. She, however, loves Zane. Barbara manipulates Casey into becoming a ritual sacrifice to release Zane from the Dark Place. When Casey says it's not a loop, it's a spiral, think of it meaning like a spiral staircase, and that Casey is being sent downward into the Dark Place to replace Zane. For Alan, it's not a loop, it's a spiral, could mean the opposite, that Alan can use the loop to ascend out of the Dark Place, come up the spiral staircase, if he knows how to climb it, which Nightless Night implies that somebody will need to replace Alan in order to get him out, just as Casey was used to get Zane out. We could also be getting some hints about another antagonist for the future of the story, Tom Zane. Alan confronts and shoots Zane during the story, but like Alan, Zane apparently doesn't stay dead. We know he's been making his own attempts to escape the Dark Place, and that he went so far as to work with Mr. Scratch to that end. So what about Saga? Her fate is left ambiguous at the end of Alan Wake 2. At the very least, she seems to still be in the Dark Place with Casey, and it's not especially clear how she would get out. There's a hanging thread that seems poised to deal with that too, though. After the summoning ritual and Scratch throwing Saga into the Dark Place, Tor and Odin wade into Cauldron Lake after her. It seems like they're headed in to help get her back out. But
Yeah, we never saw them.
on without seeing the old gods of Asgard again. So they're down there in the Dark Place as far as we know. It doesn't seem like much of a stretch to guess that Saga's story will be continued in one of the DLC editions, with Tor and Odin playing a role in finally helping Saga make her escape with Casey. And let's not forget about Warlin Door and Sheriff Tim Breaker as well, who seem to have roles yet to play. The impression of Door throughout Alan Wake 2 is that he's aware of Alan's story and taking part in it willingly. It is also never said plainly, but it's very heavily implied that he is Saga's father, who in the real world was absent for almost all of her life.
Where did that
And
imply
while
that?
Saga has inherited the power to resist the Dark Presence's manipulation from her mother's side of the family, she inherited the potential to navigate the Dark Place's labyrinthine layout from him. So there are plenty of elements for the story to deal with, and we know there's a fair amount of story yet to be told. As of right now, though, the conclusion is that Alan sacrificed himself to remain in the Dark Place in order to save Saga, Casey, Logan, and Bright Falls. What we still don't know is whether he was successful, but we do know that there are people still looking to help him. There's enough there to merit Alan Wake potentially being a trilogy. It's just a matter of whether or not we'll have to wait another 13 years for the next installment. And of course, some of this may be resolved in the next Control game, which is confirmed to be in development, as well as any other Remedy Connected Universe titles that the developer is working on. What are your theories and takeaways on the story of Alan Wake 2? Let us know in the comments below, and for everything.
I don't know. I have no clue what's going on. A lot of that stuff that they talked about, oh, it implied. I didn't catch any of that. None of that. Also, I don't know. This was a really good game. I enjoyed it. A little long in the tooth, but it was so like all over the place and stuff didn't make sense. And then now to find out that, oh, cool, I pretty much bought a game, played it, just so they could say, oh, guess what? You'll get the real ending if you buy more. I think that's what's wrong with the game industry now. I literally paid what, $60 for a game, played it, and then to figure out what happens in the game, oh, you have to buy more. I don't know. That kind of rubs me the wrong way. I'm not gonna lie, but I enjoyed the game. The game is cool. Didn't make a lot of sense. Overstayed. Well, at least for me, I feel like it overstayed its welcome. I enjoyed it, but the whole cliffhanger and DLC coming out, that chapped my ass. That kind of rubs me the wrong way. But I don't know. Appreciate you watching. Hope I don't know if you played the game. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm curious. Leave your thoughts and comments below. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I played it. I'm a fan of the Alan Wake series, but I guess we'll figure out what they decide to do with the DLC that they want more money from me. So, I don't know. Appreciate you watching. Later.